And good morning is 7:04 on this Tuesday, October 17th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Tuesday morning. Welcome to our program, and glad to be on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy is here this morning.
Good morning,
Tracy
Coleman.
Hope, good morning to you. Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. How's it going?
It's going well, going well.
Well, we have a special guest this morning. You bring most of the time a medical professional. Usually it's a doctor, but not always. But somebody to talk about what's going on at the hospital, and who better to do this than you, because you're right there in the middle of all of it. Been there for a long time, and have fond memories of it becoming Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
Absolutely. You know, Vanderbilt purchased our hospital in 2019, a little over 4 years ago, and it has been a fantastic ride. Vanderbilt has invested over $40 million in our hospital, our infrastructure, and additional services that we are bringing to our community and the surrounding communities. But before we get started, we are having a Masquerade Jewelry and Accessory $5 fundraising sale this Thursday and Friday, October 19th and 20th. You know, we used to have these 3-4 times a year, and we really have gotten out of routine due to COVID, but we're excited to partner with the Masquerade vendor, and they are coming back, so that we will be located in the outpatient conference room at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and there is an entrance that says Outpatient Center, so that is where you will enter to go into the conference room. I know we have lots of loyal customers that would come out and support, and the fundraising, it's sponsored by our volunteers at the hospital, so we're excited. It's Thursday, October 19th, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then on Friday, the 20th, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And it says here cash and debit credit cards accepted, so.
Yes, sir.
You bring your credit card, you can spend more, maybe.
Absolutely. Lots of items for $5. You know, it's never too early to buy those stocking stuffers, and they always have some great trinkets.
Well, your hospital volunteers, they do a great job. And to have a little fundraiser for, I don't know what they do with it, but whatever they do is probably a good thing.
They do. We have some dedicated volunteers. You know, since COVID, it's been hard on all healthcare workers, and our volunteers have just been another group. We have a small group, and we are working to build that group back up.
Okay, are you ready to us to get down to
I
business
am,
today?
yes. This morning we have Dr. Hunter Hood. He is with Vanderbilt Orthopedics here in Lebanon, and we're excited to hear from him today.
All right, good morning, Dr. Hood.
Yeah, good morning.
We want to know all about you, that you would like to tell us about your background, where you're from. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. Actually, I graduated from high school in Brandon, Mississippi, which is just in the suburbs of Jackson. I grew up in that area. I went to Ole Miss for undergrad, and then in terms of training, I went to medical school in Mississippi, and then did all of my orthopedic training at Tulane University in New Orleans and Washington University in St.
So
Louis.
you've stayed in the South then.
Yeah.
We get some who have been all over, but not so in your case.
Yeah, I'm a little partial to this part of the country.
Well, how long have you been in Lebanon?
So my wife and I, we moved this summer, and we've just gotten our practice established, and we actually have a new clinic location right across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
Okay, well, we'll get to all that. I want to get a little bit more into your background. I always wonder, there's some point usually when a person has a story to tell, at some point they decided to do what they're doing. And with some people, it may have started when they were 7 or 8 years old. With others, it may have been after they even had some college or whatever. What about you? Did you always wanted to be a doctor?
Yeah, I always had an interest. I was around it a little bit as a child. I don't have anyone in my family who's a physician, but my mother was an administrator at a local hospital at an oncology center. And I knew in my undergraduate studies I liked science, so I studied that. And then I actually took 3 years off. I was a teacher for a little while. And then I went back to school, and in medical school, you know, in terms of choosing orthopedics, honestly, I liked everything. You know, you kind of know if you want to be a physician, that's your calling. But I was lucky enough to do a rotation where I worked with actually a hip and knee surgeon at that facility, who is he's now in Arkansas, but had a big influence on my career, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, so out of high school, you went where?
To Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, and then?
And then I went back to Brandon and taught, and then I ended up going to medical school in Jackson.
And then where from there?
And so then I was at Tulane. So after medical school, you kind of match into the specialty that you want to go to. And I was lucky enough to match at Tulane University in New Orleans, which is a great place to train. A lot of good people.
Well, how'd you get to Nashville and then Lebanon?
So, you know, the brief story is essentially I was at Washington University in St. Louis, which is a great place to do your hip and knee fellowship. And the chairman at Vanderbilt, Rick Wright, was reaching out looking for another hip and knee surgeon, and he previously was at that institution, and we'd always had a great connection. And it just so happened it was around Christmas time, and called and asked if I would come see it, and I knew immediately it was, you know, the right fit.
And how'd you get here? Was that part of it originally, or?
Yeah, that was originally part of it. This is I've always kind of wanted to practice in a community like this. I've always, you know, when you do your residency training, you're always predominantly in a more urban environment, and that's great for training. But you know, every community needs great care, and so I think this is the right fit for me.
Well, I hope you've been welcomed properly to Lebanon, and
I have,
and gotten acquainted with a few people already.
Yeah, I have. We've gone around some and met some of the local family medicine physicians and internal medicine doctors in town, and they've been extremely welcoming. And I mean, obviously, Lebanon has a great healthcare network and a great community of people.
Well, and thank you, Dr. Hood, for talking about your recruiting upon Vanderbilt. But it just goes to show that Dr. Wright, that is the Department of Orthopedics chair for Vanderbilt, the overall Vanderbilt University Medical Center, over a year ago was reaching out, trying to recruit here for Wilson County. And, it's not a fast process. But I think, time and time again, we're here with new physicians and we're seeing new specialties, and it just goes to show the impact that Vanderbilt is making in our community.
Well, one of the great things about having the hospital here compared to having to travel to downtown Nashville, and I've had to experience that a time or two myself, it is so much easier. Mm-hmm. You can almost always find a parking place right over here, and you don't worry about going into a big garage and where did you leave your car and all the traffic going to and from.
Well, and funny enough, our Vanderbilt physicians say the same thing. They love coming out to Wilson County because the parking is so easy. They get to come into their unit, into their area quickly. They're not parking and walking for 25 minutes until they get into the hospital. So not only do our patients feel the same way, our physicians and employees feel the same way as well.
I can certainly understand that. Now, do you specialize in one particular aspect of orthopedics?
Yeah, so my practice is predominantly hip and knee replacements. Now, most orthopedic surgeons do a broad variety of orthopedic care in terms of managing broken bones and things like that. But my practice predominantly focuses on hip and knee pain patients.
Any particular reason that is your specialty?
That's just, as a student, I had a really great experience. Hip and knee replacement patients tend to do very well. They tend to be patients who have, truly debilitating pain that really affects their life, and joint replacement surgery can really maintain or improve a patient's quality of life.
And tell us again about your fellowship, how after medical school and then into orthopedics and your specialty.
Yeah, so these days, most orthopedic surgeons do a fellowship year. It's usually 1 year. Surgeons do pediatrics, things like that. My specialty was specifically in hip and knee surgery and in hip preservation surgery. So I do non-joint replacement type surgeries on young patients with hip pathology. But I spent a whole year doing hip and knee replacements and then revision hip and knee replacements, which we now see more of since so many people have joint replacement surgery.
Well, what are the signs and symptoms of the more common types of knee pain that you see?
So predominantly in older populations, it's arthritis. So that's typically general wear and tear of the hip and knee over time. There are other things such as, ligament injuries, cartilage injuries, and then other pathologies. Sometimes patients are born with abnormal hips or knee joints where that can be the source of their pain. So it's a pretty broad field in terms of.
Well, I'm just wondering, do you do more knees or do more hips?
Usually more knees. There's more knee replacements are done in the United States than hip replacements. That's just because knee arthritis is more common. Knee arthritis is pretty highly associated with obesity, actually. So that's something that we've seen more of in the United States. So that's why it's more common.
All right. Well, Dr. Hunter Hood is with us along with Tracy Pope, and it's time for us to take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford and the low price tire guaranteed on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're working an accident out in Antioch right now. 24 westbound at OHB. It's interrupting that traffic flow coming in right now from Rutherford County, headed towards Nashville on 24 going westbound. It is heavy now in Hermitage. All that heavy traffic arriving in from Wilson County on 40 going westbound up by Donaldson Pike. Still crowded on Vietnam Vets there at Conference Drive, trying to get on that ramp to 65 going southbound. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken is hiring at all 4 locations. Check out that menu today at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
This is Christopher Menzel. I'm a bariatric surgeon here at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. I just wanted to say happy 30th anniversary to WANT FM 98.9.
Happy anniversary, WANT. 30 years of great service to our community from John DeWall with the DeWall Salvation Army shoe giveaway every year before the beginning of school on Lake Street.
This is Diana Cavender from Exit Rocky Top Realty wishing WANT a happy 30th anniversary.
When it comes to Medicare plans designed to meet your needs and budget, there's no place like Farm Bureau Health Plans. We've got Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare Supplements, Part D, dental, vision, designed with folks like you in mind. Visit our office at 214 North Castle Heights here in Lebanon. You can see Charlotte Webster for your Medicare or other health plan needs. You can always get a quote for auto, home, life insurance, and also commercial insurance. Then again, West Dugan, Farm Bureau, Castle Heights office.
We continue here on this Tuesday morning. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Along with Tracy Pope this morning, we have Dr. Hunter Hood, Vanderbilt Orthopedics of Lebanon. And you've told us about your wife. Any children in your family?
We don't have children now. We are certainly hoping to. Now that we've gotten settled in, we've had 2 moves in 2 years, and now we're finally in the place we want to be.
Well, you did tell us you went to Ole Miss and you're from Mississippi, and most of your life has been right here in the South, but a great opportunity to come to Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And we haven't talked about your office, and I know we're going to ask you about that later, but I'm going ahead and where are you located?
So our office has now moved right over. It's right across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
Yeah, so they're located at 1405 West Badura Parkway in Suite 102. So when you pull in the main entrance to the hospital, it's the first building on the right behind our surgery center.
Okay, so that's where you're located, and want to get back to talking about what you specialize in, knee and hips. And we talked about some of the signs and symptoms of the most common types of knee pain, but what are the treatments for some of these causes of knee pain?
Yeah, so the vast majority of people actually don't necessarily need surgery. You know, a lot of the treatments include weight loss, physical therapy, anti-inflammatory medications, and then very commonly, most people hear about are injections. Injections can be very useful in terms of relief of pain, so those are usually corticosteroid injections.
I think we all know the answer to this, but I'll ask it, how important is that weight loss?
Oh, that's critical. So that's the from an evidence-based perspective, that's kind of the number one thing that patients can do is weight loss.
If there's less weight for those knees or hips to deal with, then I mean, it just stands to reason there's less stress, less pounds there to carry around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when surgery is necessary, is a stay in the hospital always required?
No, not necessarily. So in the last 10 years, there's been a big transition to more patients going home the same day of surgery. Now, some patients do end up staying overnight for monitoring, and in most circumstances, I think, we're going to do whatever's best for the patient. But most patients do go home the same day.
What would be the main reasons that they wouldn't go home after?
They need a lab to be monitored, or, they still have some nausea after surgery or something along those lines. In some cases, when patients have had severe arthritis and have had a limited ability to walk after surgery, they need to work with physical therapy a little bit more right after, and so we work in tandem with our physical therapy team and determine the best strategy.
Is there much difference in that as far as the knee or the hip?
No, not necessarily. There's they're unique in that the hip after surgery it's different education in terms of what you can and cannot do. But both surgeries, most of the time, we allow patients to put full weight on it immediately after surgery and get up and work with the therapist.
Well, as far as arthritis goes, does that affect the knee more than it does the hip? Or
yeah, it's more common in the knee, so we see it there more. In the hip, we do see a lot of patients with arthritis. We also see other pathologies that cause people to have arthritis. So patients who have hip dysplasia, which a lot of people hear of, hip impingement is another thing we see commonly in high-level athletes. So those are two things that we operate on a lot.
Well, if arthritis is the cause of the knee pain, are there any cures other than surgery?
There's no cures, unfortunately. So articular cartilage is the tissue in the joint that allows you to have that smooth motion. And unfortunately, a lot like heart muscle, when that is damaged, it does not regenerate. You form this type of rough fibrocartilage that does, it causes those symptoms of popping and clicking in the joints and things like that.
Is there, has it been determined the actual cause of arthritis?
No, so there's a lot of factors. So we know some of it is genetic. So in some patients, they know their grandparents had bad arthritis, and that puts them at a higher chance of having it. In other patients, it can be traumatic in origin. So we see it commonly in our younger athletes. So if, at Tulane, we had one of the NFL clinics in the country, and we would commonly see professional football player or retired professional football players in their late 40s, early 50s with severe arthritis similar to 60s and 70-year-old patients. And that's due to ligamentous injuries and things like that.
Well, are there any treatments that can reverse arthritis?
There's nothing that can reverse it, unfortunately. There's research ongoing regarding stem cell treatments and PRP injections and all of these types of things, but unfortunately, nothing is actually shown to reverse it.
You get it, you got it, you have to deal with it.
Indeed.
And that's where you come in.
Yes, absolutely.
But not always surgery.
Not always surgery. And as I like to tell people, vast majority of patient surgery is never the number one option.
Well, tell us about the robotic-assisted joint replacements for knee.
Yeah, so I do robotic-assisted knee replacements and all partial knee replacements, I use robotic assistance. It's extremely helpful in patients with bad arthritis with deformity, where you get severe bowing or you have a severe knock-knee deformity. I think it's extremely useful in essentially straightening out your leg and maintaining the balance of the ligaments in your knee so that after surgery you have good motion, a good stable knee, and you can walk with a natural gait.
What about extra certification and training?
Yeah, so for robotic surgery, you do have to do a special certification. So in my fellowship, I think I did 250 robotics cases, so I met all the criteria to do robotic hip surgery and robotic knee surgery. In terms of other certifications, a lot of that is done in the fellowships, depending on what you do, and obviously mine was hip and knee.
Well, when you throw out that number 250, that makes me want to say, well, you've about done it all. You've been there and done that.
Yeah, so I mean, to become proficient at something, you have to do it a lot, and that's why in the medical field, and it's not just orthopedics. You go to your primary care doctor; they see a lot of patients, and they're good at what they do because of that experience.
Well, but experience does mean a lot.
Absolutely,
you've dealt with some of the most severe situations probably, and some of the more minor ones. And in other words, to put it in common terms, you know what you're doing because of your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, and it's also a matter of, just like anything, you've got to enjoy what you're doing, and you got to be passionate about trying to continue to get better. I think if you continue to keep up with the research and the literature, and you go to national meetings and you're in tune with the advancements in technology, I think that's really important in optimizing the care of your patient.
Okay, one other thing here. Why choose robotic surgery versus traditional joint replacement and the advantages?
Yeah, so I do both, and I think there's a role for both. Robotics is obviously a little more expensive, and it requires some other things that a traditional joint replacement does not. But it does have some advantages in patients with hip deformities or knee deformities. It's the advantage of the robot is not necessarily the robotic arm as it is as much the software in terms of the feedback.
What does, if somebody wants to see you, do they need to have a referral?
They do not. So actually, you can call our clinic and get an appointment with us. It is beneficial to have a referral, and I tell patients that because when your physician refers you over and they can send the information that they have, it honestly, it saves you a lot of time filling out paperwork. and I think most of us like that. It's also advantageous for us to have some background information. It gives us the best opportunity to give you the best care possible.
And having that come from a primary care physician tells you more than what somebody might write down on a piece of paper.
Absolutely. The primary care physicians typically know you best, and they are really dedicated to managing your care among all the subspecialists. They're extremely thorough, and I think it's critical to use them as a resource because they're the people who can really give you access to the best care you need.
All right, we got a couple of minutes left here. Dr. Hunter Hood is here, Vanderbilt Orthopedics of Lebanon. And one other thing, tell us about the rest of your team at Vanderbilt Orthopedics.
Yeah, so it's myself, Dr. Sean Patel, Dr. Lance LeClaire. Dr. Patel is a hand surgeon, and Dr. LeClaire is a sports surgeon, so he predominantly does a lot of arthroscopic surgeries. We have a really great broad coverage. Dr. LeClaire helps cover the Lebanon High School football team. Dr. Patel manages hand patients sent from all over Middle Tennessee. So I think, no matter what your orthopedic issue is, we have someone who can really help you and is really committed to.
Well, Dr. Hunter Hood, we thank you for being with us this morning, and welcome to Lebanon. I hope you might even get moved here before too long.
Yeah.
And that you enjoy your
too.
stay, and it will be a long one. How's
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Thanks, Coleman.
And Tracy, we got about a minute and a half here. I know you want to mention this masquerade jewelry and accessories again.
Yes, we're going to have the $5 sale at the hospital this Thursday, October 19th, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Friday, October the 20th, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that's in the Outpatient Center Conference Room at the hospital. So come out and support I know that, we have some long-time supporters here in the community, and we are bringing the sale back. So come and see us on this Thursday and Friday.
All right. Anything else about the hospital this morning?
Well, I think that we've covered it. I'm real excited that Dr. Hood has joined our orthopedics team. Like you said, we now have 3 full-time physicians in our orthopedic group at Vanderbilt, and whatever your need might be, we can get you covered.
All right. And, of course, you have a little extracurricular activity with the Chambers of Commerce. You're a busy person.
I tend to be busy, but no busier than everyone else. So I really enjoy my job and appreciate, Vanderbilt and the support and what they give me and what I'm able to do.
Well, we look forward to you being here twice a month with a Vanderbilt medical professional, and you're a professional as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right, that is it for part 1 of Coleman and Company, presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. More coming up, so keep it here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, high performance, high horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors, rated #1 for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We still see heavy traffic trying to get out of Rutherford County, Murfreesboro, headed towards Nashville on 24 westbound. There at OHB as they try to clean up that earlier wreck there in Antioch. It's just aggravating that traffic again coming in from Murfreesboro towards Nashville. It's heavy in Paytons Mill on 840, trying to work your way over to the I-65 split. Heavy traffic continues on Vietnam Vets, getting on that ramp there to I-65. A Princess Hot Chicken is hiring at all locations. Stop by and see them today and enjoy some of that hot chicken. Log on to princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Where a patient starts their cancer care matters. And here, that means Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, Wilson County. It's Vanderbilt-level care without making the drive to Nashville. From screening to diagnosis to treatment and recovery, patients can get all the care they need right here close to home. So now, having the best care team and most advanced treatment is closer than ever. Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, making cancer care personal.
A little bit of patchy fog to start off the morning, otherwise partly sunny skies today, warming up to a high of around 64. Tonight, mostly clear skies at low down to 40, sunshine and 71 for your Wednesday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Just log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
Especially for the Coleman and Company, we thank you for joining us and welcome you to part 2 here on a Tuesday morning. My friend Sean Dozier is here, and we welcome him as Executive Director of Hearthside Senior Living. And good morning.
Good morning. We just had the off-the-record conversation. Now we're having the on-the-record conversation.
Well, we have some good ones, and we'll have some more when we go to the break at 7:45 with my second guest, no doubt. But how are things? Well, let's tell everybody. If you don't know, Hearthside Senior Living has been here since 1994, and it's a retirement and assisted living community. And Sean is the executive director, and it's located at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in the heart of town.
You know, it really is a great place. I was thinking of driving over here what I could talk about. And, you know, I often talk about the maintenance. You know, we provide maintenance for our independent living homes, our 2 and 3 bedroom homes. And for instance, we had a lady call me. She's a widow. She called me Saturday. I was at the UT game, and she said, my smoke alarm is beeping, and I don't want to listen to it all night. Nobody likes to listen to it all night. It's up in the ceiling. She can't reach it. And so we got somebody over there to change the battery and got that took care of. A couple weeks ago, we had an incident where a doorknob was broken on a Friday night, and we got somebody over there to fix that, just so the resident would feel safe going through the weekend. And this week, we've got our landscaping crew out there going to replace all the shrubs that are dead. And we replaced some in the spring, but now we've got several more to replace in the fall, so our residents don't have to get out there and replace the shrubs. So our independent living, we take care of them. And then I was thinking, our assisted living, we have a great maintenance program for our assisted living. We're regulated by the state when it comes to maintenance in the assisted living, so we really have to make sure we follow all the rules and regulations. But last Thursday night, we had a call at 9 o'clock. I was out anyway, but I got a call at 9 o'clock and said my PTAC is out, my air unit's out. And this lady relies on her PTAC because it keeps her cool. She's on oxygen 24/7, and she likes to keep her room really, really cold. Most of our residents, if you go visit them, make sure you don't wear any clothes because it's hot in their rooms. They keep it. I guess their skin is so, just.
Well, are you stepping on my toes a little bit?
Are you cold natured?
I don't like it. Well, yes.
Well, you fit right in. They keep it hot, and they like it hot in the dining room, and so that's why I hardly ever wear a coat because it's so hot. But
you got to adapt to it.
Yeah, I got to adapt to it. But anyway, we took care of that, and we got her a new PTAC unit. Our maintenance guy got in there at 9 o'clock, and within the hour, we had the PTAC unit replaced. So I say all that to say we have a great staff that takes care of our residents. If you need something, we don't delay. We make sure it's taken care of. We had another resident call. Our dishwasher was broken, and she really uses her dishwasher a lot. And so we got a service called in, and we got a part ordered for that, and it's coming in soon. So
that's almost going the extra mile in some of these situations.
we try to, on the weekends or at night, we don't want our residents to suffer or to feel like they're smothering, particularly if they're on oxygen, and we don't want to have to, nobody likes to listen to a beeping smoke alarm all night long, right, especially when you're older and you can't reach the ceiling. So we do go above and beyond. Our staff goes above and beyond. If they need me, they have my cell phone number. They can get in touch with me, and we try to take care of our residents, and that's what I think they really appreciate it when they move in, whether it's the independent living or the assisted living. We take care of people.
Well, that's good to know, and I hadn't really thought that much about your retirement community there, but I mean they're part of you too. So
yeah, they are. We're one big happy family most days, and we have 30 homes. We have about 50 something residents down there, and they. When they move in, we have a checklist that they get quarterly, and we go through their houses and make sure everything is taken care of. And that's one of the advantages about moving into Hearthside is you don't have to worry about maintenance. And whether it's a refrigerator or whether it's a leaking roof or whether it's a dishwasher, you have a full-time maintenance person on site that takes care of things.
And no lawns to mow?
And no lawns to mow, no bushes to plant and all that. We take care of all that. Of course, if you want to plant flowers and stuff, a lot of people enjoy doing that, but they get out there and do that. But it's it's one of those things that when you move into a community like that, it takes less stress off of you. You can get out there and do what you like to do. You can travel, you can go and do, and not have to worry about your home like most of us do.
Well, Sean, I think the fact you have a long waiting list for that retirement community says a lot.
Yeah, I have a folder full of names that I would love to have them move in. I've got some great people on that list, I tell you. If I could have 30, 40 more homes, I would love to sell them to them because it's just great people from around here. But anyway, it's a long list. We also have we have a small list for our assisted living. That's one of those things as you need. You don't just necessarily put your name on a list, but we do have a list for our assisted living as well. If you're looking for assisted living or you're interested in independent living, 215 North Castle Heights Avenue. Our website's awesome, hearthsideliving.com. You can go check that out. We have pictures and videos, and you can see all that you need to see. Our pricing is on there, so it's all included. We like to say we give you the bottom line. We don't try to nickel and dime you. And it's a great option if you're looking for assisted living or independent living.
I guess it's time for a Hearthside Hello.
I do. I want to before I mention the Hearthside Hello, I want to mention Betty Denning passed away this week. A lot of people know Betty Denning, but if you don't know her, you should know her. She she's one of those people that, she's not going to be on the cover of Time magazine, or she's not going to be, on Instagram or Facebook. But Betty Denning, she showed up year after year after year after year, probably 20 years, helping our residents, volunteering, and whether it's activities or helping them in the dining room. She's one of those people that she's amazing. She passed away this week. Her funeral's today. Johnny Markham's actually performing or doing the funeral, preaching the funeral. But it's going to be a nice service for her, and I wanted to mention that and appreciate her and her family. But yes, my heart said hello on a positive note is a lady that listens to your show, Coleman. She drives to work from 7 to 7:30. She walks up the stairs at City Hall, goes on the second floor, and then she turns on the radio at 7:30 so she can listen to the second half, so she can hear people like Mike. So Kristen Ragsdale, she's our heart said hello. She's in the mayor's office. Before you see the mayor, before you see Tanya, you see Kristen. So I want to give her a shout out. I saw her last week, and she says she listens to you every single day, 7 o'clock to 7:30 in her car, and then 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And a lot of people do this, Coleman. You don't realize it. They make sure they hear every segment of this show. So
how nice.
She's our heart said hello today, Kristen Graves Ragsdale.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and congratulations for being the Hearthside Hello recipient today.
She deserves it. Thank you.
Well, Sean, I guess that's kind of the end of us. So we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you.
We'll battle with Mike Jennings now. How's that?
Make sure you show him your sayings.
I'll do it. All right. We're 20 minutes before the hour. Actually, it's 19 and a half before 8 o'clock, and Mike Jennings is here. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Excuse me, Coleman, I'm choked up.
You need another drink of that Dr. Pepper.
I do. I'm going to have to have one.
Well, Mike is our county attorney. He is also the mayor of Watertown. I have introduced him so many times as the UT football fan extraordinaire, but not just football. He's UT and bleeds orange through and through, but he's here with us this morning, and always a delight to have him come and when we get around to it, talk about what happened at the Wilson County Commission meeting last night. You did have one, and we'll get to that. But this is a big week for you, isn't it?
Biggest week of the year, and as far as game wise, the Alabama game is what the Alabama game is the kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the measuring rod.
Yeah.
And I heard Johnny Major say one time, in fact, he said it to me one time. He said, they remember what you do against Alabama. You can have a great year, but if you mess up against Alabama, that's what you'll be remembered for.
Well, you didn't mess up last year. I still think there's no way you should have won that game, but you did.
Well, you may be right on that. It's just, when the game was over, it was out of time, and we had more points. That's all that matters. How we got there doesn't really matter.
Well, that's true. And I don't know what to expect. Usually, if Tennessee is going to have a good game, it's against Alabama. It's something about the Crimson Tide that fires you up.
I think both teams do that. I look for Alabama to be more motivated than usual because of the loss last year.
Yeah.
It had been so many years since they had lost to Tennessee.
Well, what's their record?
They have one loss as well, I think.
Okay.
Didn't they lose to Texas the opening weekend, and they haven't lost since. And they're a good football team. I know there's some of the crying about their quarterbacks.
And your loss was to the Gators, wasn't it?
Ours was to the Gators. Yeah.
Well,
we got somebody in the next room smiling real big. But
Tennessee has played pretty well.
They have played well.
And your game against South Carolina, you kind of got revenge for last year.
Right.
And then this last week against Texas A&M, more of a defensive struggle, but the defense rose to the occasion.
It was, and I heard something. I think it's accurate, but I never heard this before. Josh Heupel had never won a football game that his offense didn't score 30 or more points. So he had a first the other night because we only got 20. And they're playing pretty well on defense. You mentioned South Carolina. I think Alabama's in the same position against us that we were against South Carolina. Mm-hmm. They're looking to revenge last year. So it'll be a tough place to play.
Well, the fact that this will be in Tuscaloosa, won't it?
It will be.
Got your ticket, yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's a national game of the week, and you got that exposure, so you don't want to go on there and look really bad.
You're going to think this is crazy of me, but I woke up this morning thinking about you and who might get. I think when I wake up, I'll tell who's on today and whatever. And I'm thinking, you haven't missed a game, home, away, or bowl game since, what, in 1988?
87. Halloween.
Well, I
87.
subtracted out how many years that was and multiplied it by 12, thinking that there used to not be but 10 games at one time. And then I think, anyway, there's 12 now. And if you go to a bowl game, I multiplied that out and put a dollar figure for each game. And it's amazing. I was thinking how much money you have spent.
Yeah, I think about that often. But I was telling Dr. Hood, we were talking outside, how do you put a price on fun? And not all of them were fun, I'll have to tell you, but it's my hobby. I don't own a boat, I don't fish, I don't hunt. Didn't play golf at all this year, so that's where I spend my money.
Well, we'll need to go to a break quickly here, but we had a county commission meeting last night. A teaser maybe for what we're going to talk about?
Well, short meeting because the zoning was pulled before the meeting started. And we honored a fine individual last night. We'll talk a little bit about it. And then we had 11 resolutions, 8 of which belonged to the sheriff's department. I was telling the sheriff if he hadn't been busy, we wouldn't have met. But his department's received a lot of grants and stuff, and we were taking that money in.
All right. Mike Jennings is my guest. We'll take a break here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and get a battery installed in most vehicles, $149.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still slower than normal on 24 going westbound up through the Hickory Hollow area as they wrap up that earlier wreck on 24 westbound in OHB. It was already heavy enough coming in from Murfreesboro towards Nashville in that area there on 24 westbound. It's heavy. No surprise. Over here by the airport coming in through Hermitage, Donaldson on 40 westbound. Behind it, you got that heavy traffic coming in from Wilson County towards Nashville on 40 westbound. Hey, Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. They are the most professional painting company, commercial, residential. Check them out today at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Helene Cash with AG & Johnson, wishing WANT a happy 30th anniversary.
This is Jeff Electoral, Director of Schools for Wilson County Schools. I would like to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary and thank them for being our hometown radio.
Hello, this is Heather Bay from the Lebanon Airport. I just want to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary and 30 more.
I'm James Manus, Mount Juliet Mayor, and I just want to wish WANT a happy birthday. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary. Just want to wish them success in the years to come.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Drug-Free Wilco is partnering with local law enforcement agencies for National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day on Saturday, October 28th from 10 to 2. Law enforcement will be hosting 4 events across the county at Gibbs Pharmacy, Walgreens on West Main, Three Forks Marketplace, and Mount Juliet Pharmacy. Unused medications are a public safety issue that may lead to accidental poisoning, overdose, and abuse. Participants will receive a free lockbox from Drug-Free Wilco. This project is funded under a grant contract with State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us. Mike Jennings here, our county attorney. We're going to get down to business now. We've had our fun. Yep. This is fun, too. I do appreciate you. And by the way, I guess it's okay to say this. We're going to do a special program about our 30th anniversary come Monday.
Okay.
And you and I are the two survivors still from that first Coleman and Company program. The late Don Simpson and late Bobby Jewell were here. You remember that, I'll bet.
I do.
Three of you were out here, and we didn't have maybe 2 breaks during the whole hour, and there were hardly any commercials, and we sat here and just talked for a whole hour. And when we started at 7, we ended at 8. And
I think that might have been the first time I was on the radio since the WCOR spelling bee when I was in the 5th and 6th grade. I don't remember being on the radio any other time.
Well, anyway, I distinctly remember that, and but we're going to be commemorating 30 years come Monday, and Susie will be here, and we're going to have a surprise guest host.
All right.
So I hope everybody will tune in, even those that don't maybe normally every morning. I hope Monday morning you'll make a special effort to be with us. Okay, last night.
Yeah, we had a relatively short meeting. We had one zoning matter that promised to be somewhat controversial, and it was withdrawn a couple of hours before the meeting, so that probably saved us a half hour. We had 11 resolutions, many of which, 8 of which was Sheriff's Department, 1 for education, 1 for stormwater, and 1 for the judges. So nothing big.
What was this 8 things? Just moving some money to the Sheriff's Department?
The Sheriff's Department's receiving some grants for different things that we taken into the budget, and then he's allowed to spend it. And had a lease there for some equipment, and just general things that go with the growth in his department as well as anything else. But I want to talk about a gentleman last night. We honored Police Chief James Hambrick last night upon his retirement. Every time I'm around him, I learn something. And he's just one of those guys that you like to hear speak. You like to call him a friend. But he said 2 things last night. He turned around while he was acknowledging the resolution. He turned around to the mayor and he, I better set this up. I think Chief Hambrick is going to take a full-time pastorate at a church in Franklin. And he turned around and he told Mayor Hutto, said, Mayor, I don't find anything in the Bible where it talks about retirement. And I thought, he's got a point there. It talks about, the Bible mentions we're supposed to work. And then he said something that others have told me he says all the time, but I'd never heard it when he got done. He said, I love all y'all and there ain't nothing you can do about it. I had never heard that before. I thought, what a great saying. Yeah. But he is, we honored him last night.
He's
Tyler
really a fine individual. I think he's done a great job, too, as police chief and his career in law enforcement. But I've got to know him a little bit, and when he would come here, we would talk some off the air. And one of the things that I guess impressed me about him was when he has to arrest somebody or somebody is really messed up, maybe even going to spend some time in prison or whatever, that he had to add, it's not the end of your life, and you still time for you to make some changes, and you can make the best of this situation. And he's an encourager in that way.
He is a very positive individual. His wife was with him last night, and he was mentioned about how encouraging she was to him and how supportive. And, I just think back over the years that he's been at Mount Juliet. We turn on the news once a week or so, and you'll hear about some type of controversy or something in a city police department or maybe even with a sheriff. I don't recall ever hearing that out of the city of Mount Juliet while he was chief. And that in itself, because he's managing a large group of individuals, he's dealing with a lot of people on that end of the county, and he's dealing, just like the city of Lebanon is, with an interstate that comes right through their city. So you never know what's passing through, and they've just done a really good job down there, and wish him well in his retirement. Hate to see him go, really do. But he'll be around.
He may even still do some recordings. He's got
a CD coming out.
Right.
And talked about a lot of different things in the resolution, but we did that. So that started us off on a good positive note. And then we moved right through. We had October is the month for reports, the people that give the quarterly reports. So we had some of those. And then I know Steve Murphy, the road superintendent, said they paved 34.25 miles this year, and they're still paving right now. That's pretty good. And certainly if you live on a county road that got paved, you're happy with that. And Jeff Luttrell talked last night about our student count, I think he said, is up 496 over last year. And we are right at 96% attendance. And he keeps stressing how important that is, that, you can't educate kids if they're not in school. And,
well, it's also important with the dollars we get from the state.
It is very important. And then we were ranked number 2 in the Nashville area in some, as a school system or whatever. So very good. He said, of course, we want to be number 1, but we're working on it. Number 2 is not bad when you consider the Nashville area.
Did you, by any chance, attend the groundbreaking for the school at LaGuardia the other day?
I did not get to go to that.
Did he mention that?
He did mention that last night and said they had a good groundbreaking, and I don't recall him saying just anything else in particular about it.
Well, it does show we're growing. We all know that, but I think one of the good things is as much as possible we're staying ahead of the curve. We're planning ahead, and it's hard to keep up with the curve.
It is, and we seem to be managing it pretty well. Director Luttrell has a good board of education, in my opinion. I think they've done an excellent job in what they're doing. Now, there's some controversy about books, and that is overshadowing the news, but when you step back and see their job is, and I mentioned this the other night, perhaps I was out of order, but their job is to make sure my kids and my grandkids get a good education, and that's what they're doing. I believe 100% that's what they're doing. So all this other stuff, the social issues, in my opinion, don't belong in the school. Our job is to educate, and I think we're doing a good job there.
We've got about 4.5 minutes left here. Anything else from last night's meeting? We pretty much covered that. Did anybody wants to hear?
We have. We did reappoint Anita Fox last night to a 1-year term as a judicial commissioner. And the thing I recall the chief judicial commissioner saying last night is Ms. Fox works every weekend. Not everybody wants to do that. Yeah. So she's good to have. That's pretty much it. We had 24 present last night. We had 1 away on special assignment, and I guess we'll move on to November.
Well, what's happening in Watertown?
Well, I guess I'll find out tonight because we have a city council meeting, but I don't have a lot of new stuff to deal with tonight from my perspective. I may hear some from the floor, from the people that are present there, but hopefully we'll have a good meeting tonight. I know I'm going to have 1 councilman that's away on vacation, and so we won't quite have a full house, but we'll almost. And I'm very fortunate too, Coleman. I have a good city council.
You have much controversy among those on the council. Are they pretty much all on the same page?
Pretty much all on the same page.
Can't all think exactly alike. There's got to be a few differences of opinion at times, I would think.
Pretty much all on the same page. The thing that drives differences of opinion is money. We're like most everybody else. We don't have enough. We certainly don't have enough. And so people have different ideas about how to spend money that, frankly, we don't have.
Yeah.
And so I have to kind of be the bad guy in that and say, I'd love to go along with you on that, but we can't afford it. And people say, well, let's just raise taxes. Yeah. No, wait a minute now. That ain't that easy. And plus, our property tax base is not that large, so raising taxes is not
one cure-all. One thing that would help, obviously, is to generate more sales tax revenue, and you need some more businesses maybe to do that.
We do, and that is increasing steadily every year, and that is what has allowed us to do some more things. But there are a lot of things, a lot of good ideas that come around that council table, but the drawback is money, and suspect it always will be on a small town. It's just tough on 1,500 people to manage.
You still have a sewer issue, right?
We do, and they're working on that. We're further along than we were, and I plan on reporting on that tonight. We've got a group that is an engineering group that's doing a study on our roads so that we can try to stretch our $1 million as far as we can and prioritize that. I hope to have that soon. I don't think I'll have it by tonight. The disappointing thing right now to us is we did not get our Chrissy grant to fund the turntable.
No.
So we're going to have to turn over some more rocks and see if we can find some money somewhere. But that's a sizable piece of money that we need. So got some ideas. Other people have got some ideas. We're putting our heads together trying to come up with that. But still optimistic.
You have many, from time to time, you'll have a new business to open, and sometimes they do well, sometimes they close the doors after a while. That's true anywhere, but but maybe a little bit more difficult to succeed in Watertown because of the proximity to Lebanon or whatever.
That's right. And you have to drive by, if you're coming from the west, you have to drive by a lot of things that reach out to get your money before you get to Watertown. Now, one of the things that we've talked about before, the drive-in is a great thing for us. The train coming is a great thing for us. The community events that we have are great things. We have an event center now that handles small gatherings, very nice facility. And things like that generate revenue, and we have, for the last few years, really the last 10 years, we've had an increase in revenue every year. But it's not millions of dollars, it's like thousands. And so major projects really are a challenge.
All right, Mike, we've come to the end of our time. Thanks so much for being here. See you next month. That's it for a Tuesday. Please join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.